Hi, my name's Ben and welcome to the Expat Blueprint, the platform educating expats to financial freedom. Welcome back everyone to episode number 5 of our How to Invest series. Last week we discussed the main types of asset classes or investments that investors use to build wealth. Now that's all well and good knowing about these types of investments, but where do we go to access these investments? And that's what we're going to talk about today. How to pick an investment platform and what are the key features to look for. I firstly want to make it really clear that the platforms that I'm talking about today are options where tax wrappers, such as the equivalent of say making ISA or pension contributions in the UK, aren't available. You should always explore those types of vehicles or products first if they're available to you, as they're either going to provide you tax relief on your contributions on the way in or when you withdraw, tax relief on the way out. Today I'm speaking to those expats who don't have the opportunity to contribute or access these types of investment products, such as the expats in the Gulf region. If you do have any questions surrounding this, please get in touch, I'm happy to help. Now the concept of investment platforms has grown astronomically in recent years. And as the technology has developed, the accessibility to the whole investment universe has just got greater and greater. Now, the public and investors have been buying investments such as stocks and bonds for centuries. However, up until recently, if an investor wanted to buy a piece of company stock, they'd have to go through someone called a stockbroker, who would then have the task of going to the stock market and trying to get the investor that stock for the best available price. However, as technology has developed and companies have created some incredibly powerful software, the need for the likes of the stockbroker has declined. Investors are now able to access the whole world of investment at their fingertips via their mobile phone. Apps such as eToro, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, eTrade have seen a huge uptake in investment through their mobile applications. Investors no longer need to go through a middleman to get access to the investments they want, which has in turn reduced time and also cost for the investor. So investment platforms are essentially a piece of software that acts as one big online supermarket. They allow you to buy, sell and hold investments all in one place, and will give you transparency on how those investments you bought are performing. Often they could be hugely overwhelming for the everyday investor and come across more like an aeroplane cockpit as opposed to something to buy and sell investment. More often than not, the capability of these types of platforms are so much more powerful than we actually need. Therefore, it can be quite confusing navigating your way around them. This makes it so important to open an account that you're comfortable with and one that suits your needs. So as I've just mentioned, there are lots of licensed brokerage firms, from more expensive full service stockbrokers where you might benefit from advisory services through to your do-it-yourself, low-fee online discount brokers. Nowadays, most platforms let you open up an account fairly quickly online, and there are plenty of options nowadays that don't require you to fund a large amount to begin with. In fact, there are a number of brokerage firms that allow you to open an account with no initial deposit. Okay, so what is typically required to open up a brokerage account? Let's be honest, no one likes admin, but when it comes to opening up any kind of financial services account, there's usually a few hoops that you have to jump through. Now, each individual brokerage or platform will have their own procedure, and different countries are going to require different documents. However, some of the main documents include a proof of identification, usually in the form of a passport, national identity cards or a driver's license, proof of residential address, which is likely to be a mortgage statement, a lease agreement or a utility bill, and finally other things like a copy of your bank statements from the account that you plan to fund the account from, and then maybe some more information on your employer. So once the account's set up, you're going to need to fund your account before you're able to purchase any investment. The easiest way to do this is by sending money from your personal current or savings account to your new platform. The money that you send will be directed to your account on the brokerage, and it's likely to sit in a cash account within your brokerage account and be waiting there for you to use it to invest. This cash account is not only where any new money that you send to the platform will initially sit, but it's also where the proceeds of sales of any investment, so hopefully your profits will also sit there before you either withdraw them back to your current account or reinvest them. Once your platform's been funded, you're ready to go and ready to purchase the investments you want by searching for them via your account. Each type of investment you look to buy will have an ISIN, which stands for International Securities Identification Number, and or a CDOL code, Stock Exchange Daily Official List. These codes are basically unique codes for all the different types of investments you want to buy. Each investment has one. So when you work out the type of investment you want to buy, you will then search for it using one of these codes to find it on the brokerage account. Once you've done that and bought those investments, congratulations, you're now the owners of that investment, as well as any funds that are sat in your cash account. You then dictate how long you want to hold on to your investments, and the brokerage then just acts as an intermediary between you and the investments you want to purchase. Okay, now we've established what we use an investment platform for. We need to distinguish what makes a good platform. Let's be honest, there are so many options out there, and they all have slightly different features that they use to distinguish themselves from the competition. Now, I want to make it very clear that it's not the investment platform platform that will make or break your financial future. The investment platform is just like a diet plan. Essentially, you just need to find one that you like and you're going to be most consistent with over the long term. You could have the most amazing investment platform ever with all the bells and whistles, but if you aren't budgeting and therefore not logging on to save and invest money every month, then it's completely useless. But that being said, our tips when shopping around for an investment platform are as follows. Number one is accessibility. Now with this, I actually mean two things. Firstly, some investment platforms might require you to make certain size deposits to use the investment platform. The good news is, this is becoming less and less common, with most platforms having now very small minimums, if any. If you're looking to invest on your own without the help of an advisor or a financial planner, then there are more than enough options that have no minimum deposits and are more than suitable for your needs. My second point of accessibility is to do with what it is you want to invest in. As I mentioned last week, there are so many different types of investments out there and there's so many ways you can invest in them. So it's important to understand what it is that you're trying to invest in and make sure that your platform of choice can cater to it. Essentially, it's just like making sure that you go to the right supermarket to buy the foods that you need to make your dinner. Like I've already mentioned, most of the platforms are way too complicated and have so many more features than 99.9% of us actually need. If you're wanting to keep things simple, then I would suggest making sure your platform allows you to buy ETFs, as this is what I'll be discussing with you in future episodes, and this is what we'll be building our investment portfolios with. Feature number two is usability. Find a platform that you find relatively easy to navigate around. I've seen it too many times where the complexity has just thrown people into paralysis and they've just done nothing because they're too scared to do something wrong. If you can find a platform that you're comfortable with and something that you're regularly able to access via your mobile or your laptop and make continuous contributions through the year, you're onto a winner. Number three is access to help. Many platforms have access to a financial planner, market research, investment tools, and ready-to-build portfolios. Now, like I said, investing really isn't too difficult. However, I completely understand that at the beginning you can feel massively overwhelmed. If the extra help is going to mean you get started quicker or stay more consistent, then it's definitely worth it, even if it's going to cost you slightly more. Number four, while we're on the subject of cost, the next feature is fees. Cost is definitely something you need to consider when looking at investment platforms, because everything you pay away in fees is essentially coming out of your pot for your financial goals. Does this mean that everyone should rush to find the cheapest platform? Obviously not. As discussed, there are a lot more considerations than just costs, but the fees that you need to be aware of when it comes to looking at investment platforms are trading and dealing costs. These are the transaction costs for every time you buy and sell an investment. Custody costs. These are typically a percentage-based fee the platform charges for the safeguarding of your assets. Some platforms require you to make a minimum number of transactions a month. If this minimum is not hit, then they're likely to charge a fee for inactivity. Essentially, they want you to trade because they make more money through dealing fees. Financial advisor or financial planning fees. Often the fee of a financial planner is split into two. The setup fee, which is the cost of planning and implementation of your platform, and then the ongoing service charge. Each platform is different, and with more and more becoming available, the cost of owning investments is only likely to decrease. Number five, and the final feature to consider when looking at the right platform, is service. In today's world, service is so important. We want to know we can communicate with a company if we have issues, questions, or if we need support. This should definitely be taken into consideration when looking at investment platforms. You should be building your wealth with a brand you feel comfortable with and one that will provide you with a level service that you need and expect. Okay, so we just spoke about what to look for in an investment platform. Your question to me is likely to be, okay Ben, which ones do you recommend? Now I need to be careful here, as I obviously don't know any of the circumstances and none of this should be considered as financial advice. I also want to make it very clear, I have no affiliation to any of these companies and my aim is just to give you the best unbiased advice. However, in my opinion for expats, the most suitable platforms I've seen are Interactive Brokers and Saxo Bank for people looking to manage their own investments, and then for expats who are wanting to work with an advisor, my suggestion would be the Premium platform. They're all low-cost platforms that give you access to ETFs and index funds, which is essentially what I'll be teaching you to invest with in the next few weeks. However, I cannot stress enough the importance of not letting the decision of which investment platform to use delay or stop you from investing. Action is the most important thing. How many times have we sat there debating which diet is best for you, or which trading schedule, or which business idea you might want to pursue, and then we end up doing nothing? The reason why people don't meet their financial objectives isn't because they picked the wrong investment platform or trading account. It's because they don't save enough money and invest properly. As always, I hope today's been helpful. If you do have any questions about anything we've covered, then please get in touch. Remember to share our content with your expat friends and colleagues, because introducing them to the concept of financial independence could change their life. So why don't you be that person? See you all next week, and remember to always dream big.